As a youngster, I would say the highlight of the year would have been the arrival of the fun fair. I believe it was Charles Hill was the name of the fair owners, and they would arrive, unload all their heavy lorries, which would be driven into the park, and gradually, over the course of time, they would set up the rides, and eventually the fair would open and be here for about a week or 10 days. Very much enjoyed by all the local children. One of the main attractions was at the start of each day of the fair, all the children in the area would be invited to line up in the park in different age groups, and at a set time just prior to the fair starting, they would be given free tickets. They would stand in a queue, each would be handed a ticket in turn, and with the teenage boys, if there were any left over, they were absolutely thrown in the air, ensuing in a mighty scramble where all the boys would dive in trying to get an extra ticket for that day's event. One of the other memories that I have from as a youngster would be once a year again, I believe, it was an annual event. I think you would probably call it a gymkhana, where all the show jumping events were set up, and it was very, very well attended. And it usually included one of the very well-known participants from badminton. I'm not absolutely certain, but I believe it might have been a lady by the name of Pat Smythe, who was well known at the time, and would come and give a demonstration in the show jumping events. Again, that was extremely popular. I think one of the most interesting memories I've got that a lot of people wouldn't be aware of, and I'm talking well over 100 years ago, at the turn of the previous century, involves Staple Hill Football Club, who in the early days of the FA Cup, believe it or not, were drawn at home to Manchester United. And I understand the game should have been played in the park, but because of safety concerns, was transferred to be played at Old Trafford in Manchester. I'm very impressed with what's being done as far as the recent improvements to the park. It's much more inviting than it used to be, is much more family orientated, greatly improved from what I remember it. And I'm really grateful for all the efforts that have been put in, both manually, physically, and behind the scenes as far as fundraising, that type of thing. I really think that deserves full credit. My own personal favourite is a small thing, but I very much like the small information boards that are dotted around the park, which detail the past history. I think it's important. There's things that I didn't know, and it's very, very helpful for newcomers to the area. It gives you a background to the history and what things were like years ago. I'm very impressed.